Good afternoon, one and all. Full start, but here we are. Let's hope it's not a full start for Dean Smith this afternoon. Paddy Davitt here with you. Connor Southwell, the temerity to miss what could be a landmark occasion. Dean Smith, first game in charge. Seen the man looking very relaxed on the pitch, and we are imminently. In fact, I'll stop talking, give you the team news. I'm just going to look to my left where Dave Freezer has got the team news. Let me read it out for you. 1 to 11. Krul, Aarons, Hanley back in, and Daly out alongside Gibson. Williams retains his place at left back. 1 in front on the club's graphic, which is Matthias Norman. 2 ahead of that, Billy Gilmore, the outstanding Billy Gilmore, as Dean Smith called him in midweek. McLean alongside him, so a Scottish access in front of Norman. A 1, 2, and then 3 up top. He's back. Todd Cantwell, left-hand side. The GOAT up top and Mila Rashica on the right. So Dean Smith not messing. So I make that Cantwell, Gilmore, Hanley, the 3 changes from Daniel Farker's last game, Brentford. So fire that reaction in. We'll try and pull it in as and when. But yeah, bold. He's not messing about. Asked him actually yesterday in his first press conference, given the continuity aspect of winning at Brentford and only having 1 or 2 training sessions, did you tick more towards keeping that 11 that lined up against Brentford, injury and fitness permitting? That was prior to the final training session, but he did sound like a man who was willing to change it up, and ultimately they need to, because it's not good enough defensively or offensively, irrespective of winning that game at Brentford. And he's delivered. And as I look up now down towards the front of the City stand, he's just come along to do his broadcast commitments pre-match. Dean Smith. There's 1 or 2 fans already hailing Dino. I don't know if that's coming through on the audio, but there you go. So Cantwell back in and Billy Gilmore. What do we think of that? Got to say, immediately you think, yeah, that looks like a team going forward, certainly, who should have a bit more about them. And those 2 certainly won't lack for motivation. I think Cantwell, this is his first involvement, let alone start since Watford here. A game which seemed to spook Daniel Farker into completely throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And we know in the interim, what's gone on between those 2. Clearly, not all down to sort of fitness and personal issues. It's quite evident there that there was, not a meeting of minds, shall we say, between him and Daniel. Thank you. And as a result, no sign of Todd Cantwell until today. Dean Smith's first game in charge, Todd Cantwell back in. And, of course, Billy Gilmore, a bit closer to the 11 in terms of under Daniel, but still not good enough, certainly if you're Billy Gilmore. A series of cameos / watching briefs from the bench. No doubt about it. If that had not changed and Daniel had remained in post, Billy Gilmore goes back to Chelsea in January, nailed on. As it is, Daniel's the one who's gone, and Billy Gilmore starts today. Dean Smith, when I asked him about that, his unveiling press conference on Wednesday, called him an outstanding footballer, told a nice anecdote about John McGinn, who obviously he had at Aston Villa, a Scottish teammate of Billy Gilmore's, who had clearly come back from some Scotland camps raving about what a player this boy is. And Dean Smith is obviously of the same opinion. So, yeah, let's get into some of the comments then. Neil Luther, straight away on YouTube, we have some creativity in capital letters, no doubt. Yeah, wouldn't disagree with that, Neil. Let's see if we can put that in. There you go. Excuse me. Right. Let's see what else have we got. Simon Belden. Let's pull that one in. Positive team. McLean and Gilmore have that partnership. Yep. Good shout. Scottish teammates, albeit not in the same starting 11 more often. I think McLean came on for Gilmore in that Denmark game the other day, didn't he? But Kenny mopping up, breaking things down while Gilmore can move forwards. Would have liked Big Andy in place of Hanley. Yeah, I've seen 1 or 2 comments here almost teeing up Grant Hanley as the fall guy if this doesn't go to plan today. But for me, I think I put that in my print selection today. This is more or less the lineup I thought you would go with, because I think if you're going Gilmore and you're going Cantwell, given the backstory with those 2, that not an element of gamble, but certainly that's a bold call. And do you then have a bit more added insurance rather than, no doubt about it, Omobama Daly, every time he's been pitched in, he hasn't really let anybody down, but just in the context of more attacking options with Gilmore and Cantwell, and of course Rashica retaining him, do you then maybe go a little bit more conservative and you bring Hanley back in? And of course, as well, worth pointing out, Dean Smith yesterday talked about he needs to get the senior players on side quickly, the leaders in the camp. Well, of course, the club captain firmly in that category. So wouldn't have probably sent the right signal if you're Dean Smith, if Grant Hanley is fit and had declared himself fit, and he's on the bench for the first game. So I think there's a little bit of all of that in play. But yeah, I wouldn't disagree. On the evidence of what we saw from Obama Daly alongside Gibson at Brentford, pretty harsh to be left out for me. What else have we got? Yeah, Terry Wogan, formerly of the parish. What a broadcaster he was. Obama Daly can feel a bit hard done by. Yeah, wouldn't disagree with that. Absolutely. Mel Marison on YouTube. These young players need discipline as well as skills. These players need to prove themselves. Absolutely, great point. And surely, if you're Todd Cantwell, you've been sat there since, as I say, thick end of 2 months. Some games, some weeks not available, yes, but others most definitely. And to be made to go and play with the 23s as he was at Kings Lynn, and would have played. I think they went up to Newcastle. He had a back issue. Missed a couple of days training prior to, would have gone with the 23s for that game, and then latterly here, Nottingham Forest, wasn't it? 23s duty again. That's not sending a great signal to Todd Cantwell. So ultimately, if there's one man who will not lack for motivation today, it is Todd Cantwell. We all know what he can offer if his head's right and he's in the right space. At this level, we saw it 2 seasons ago, first part of that season. He looked one of the few, alongside Pookie, who had the quality and the technical ability to add goals and add creativity, add assists. Norwich desperately need all of the above. So, for me, if he's trained as Stuart Webber said he had on Wednesday for the last 2 weeks, no-brainer. I thought maybe, nailed on he'd be in the squad today. Thought it might be a bridge too far for the 11. Clearly, Dean Smith doesn't. And, great to see him. And obviously, Gilmore's the other one, isn't it? There's a guy as well who needs to play games, because if he doesn't, it's probably only another month, 6 weeks, and then the recall option could come into play. So this period now is absolutely pivotal in terms of Billy Gilmore and Norwich and the rest of the season. If he's playing games regularly and contributing as he does for Scotland, and I know there is this debate about the opponents Scotland maybe have played in some of their World Cup qualifiers vis-a-vis Premier League opponents, but Denmark were not exactly a bad side, as England found out in the Euros, and he was very good that night earlier in the week, wasn't he, against top-class opposition who hadn't lost a game prior to in that World Cup qualifying group. So I think it's long overdue that we see Billy Gilmore in. And what I like, the way the club's graphic has been punched up, is Matthias Norman is seemingly going to offer that defensive protection that I felt he offered at Brentford, firmly in front of the back four. Yes, still with the licence to break forward, as he did, notably for the opening goal at Brentford. But if you're Gilmore, you've got Matthias Norman as a bit of an insurance policy. You've got Kenny McLean around you as well. And that, for me, will allow Billy Gilmore to go and do what he does, which is get on the ball, get Norwich ticking, get them through the lines, and obviously supply Cantwell. Take it off Cantwell, bring it back in, Rashica as well. And hopefully those three, Gilmore, Rashica, Cantwell, if they're on the same wavelength, dare I say it, Buendia, Dowell, Cantwell towards the end of the championship season, then if you're Timu Pukki, you've got to think, I'm going to get chances today, and I'm going to get the type of supply I need, as he did for what led to the penalty at Brentford. That ball, Norman slid through so he could run down the channels, commit a defender, commit the keeper. That's Timu Pukki's game. Not, here you go, fight for a ball with a 6'5" centre-back with your back to goal. That's just not Timu Pukki's game. Never has been, never will be. So let's see what else we've got in the comments. Simon Belden, Facebook, can see a really hungry performance today. Yep, you've got to think, broadening it out from just those two guys, the group as a whole, the desire to impress the new man. Dean Smith talked about first day itis on Thursday, when the intensity levels and the adrenaline were up at training and everybody was keen to impress the new man, of course. We need to see that again and continue to see that in the games ahead, because it won't be enough just to have a performance today and hopefully a result if they slip back into some of the bad habits and lack of competitive edge, both with and without the ball, that we saw, unfortunately, for the majority of those first 11 games under Daniel. So, I don't think, certainly after today's game, irrespective of the result, we'll be questioning the commitment and the urgency and the intensity. And what I liked as well, when Dean Smith was talking about non-negotiables yesterday, reeled off 3 or 4 things, set pieces with and without the ball. But he also talked about pressing. And you could see some of the footage from the training video that went out there. They were working on pressing, engaging players higher up the pitch. And for me, all of those things we didn't see enough of, anywhere near enough of under Daniel in the Premier League, certainly this season. And if we start to see that, then as Dean Smith has said on numerous occasions since he took over, he believes the quality is there in attacking areas to actually go and hurt teams. But that's no use if you're not able to go and get the ball, win it back, harry teams and turn over the ball, and then you can show your quality. Without one, the other's irrelevant for me. So Graham Everett, fresh ideas, badly needed. Time for Todd and Billy to prove a point. Yep. Tim Claxton on Facebook, don't think a point would be a bad result today. Well, I suppose following up from a win at Brentford, of course, if you're Dean Smith, you want to start with a bang. He's talked about getting the Carrow Road togetherness, the spirit and unity. He's going to achieve that very quickly if they win the game today and win it with a very urgent, energetic, high-tempo performance. So, Mr. Hooker, I'll bring on Norwich's head of comms. Talking rubbish, as always, mate, yeah. But, yeah, ultimately, I wouldn't disagree with that. 4 points from the last two games, more evidence things are moving in the right direction. And let's be honest, Southampton, 3 wins and a draw in their last 4. Beat Dean Smith's Aston Villa before. They've got some very talented young players, as well as some experienced players. You know, Romeo staying, I think, was big for them in the summer. You know, Adam Armstrong, a player Norwich would have liked to bring in from Blackburn in the summer. The financials didn't make sense. Scored a very good goal against Villa before the international break. And, of course, I'm just looking down for his name. No sign of him. I was expecting Redmond to play, but he's not in the 11. So, yeah, just double checking that. Yeah, Che Adams is, though, of course, Scottish teammate of Gilmore and McLean, and he's certainly a player. If he gets an opportunity, he knows where the goal is. So, Gary Hardy asks, where's Kabak? Well, I would imagine what that boils down to is Dean said he was fit and available after his glandular fever on Friday, when we spoke to him. So, barring an injury at that final training session, he's just, in his view, not done enough to make the squad in terms of the matchday squad. And, of course, we've talked about Hanley in, Omobama Daly out. Well, that would have been extremely harsh if Omobama Daly had come out of the bench. And in fact, maybe that's my cue, just to, if you've not already seen it, I'll read through the Norwich subs. Angus Gunn, Lucas Rupp, Chemi Poeta, Christos Zolis, Lise Malou, Josh Sargent, Dimi Yanulis, Adam Eder, and Andrew Omobama Daly. So ultimately, unless Dean Smith says after the game different, Kabak has just got a bit of work maybe to do to get in back into Dean's thoughts. Ex-Louis B, nice one, mate. Yeah, good luck from a Villa supporter. Hope Dino wins his first game. Yeah, lot of love clearly towards Dean Smith still, despite maybe it not quite working out in the last few games at Villa. I think we'll wrap it up now and we'll continue with the build-up. Edward Ivan should be a cracking game. Hopefully Todd and Billy come good. Redmond injured. Thank you, Ed. So there we go. The scene at COVID, apparently. Dave Freezer informs me. So best wishes to Redders. Hopefully nothing too serious, and he's back soon. I'm talking to COVID. I think I did see Eddie Howe is missing Newcastle's first game. He's been diagnosed with coronavirus. So no Eddie Howe for Newcastle's first game this weekend under Eddie Howe. But obviously it's all about Norwich's new manager, and that is Dean Smith. That is Norwich, Southampton, Carrow Road, 3 o'clock with 45 minutes or so from kickoff. I'll sign off. Thanks always for your support, and keep it locked to Pink and all our channels from here on. All the best, up-to-date, immediate coverage from what we hope, fingers crossed, 3 points to the Canaries on the ball.